Hello students, in the last session we have studied about one of the periodic property, that is the valency. Do you remember that? We have studied about the valency and what is valency and how it varies along the period and group. We have studied that in the last class itself. Today let us study another periodic property, that is a trend in the modern periodic property, modern periodic table. That concept you are studying here. Now let us study today another periodic property, that is called as atomic size. Now let us study about the atomic size. Now what is this atomic size? Atomic size actually refers to the radius of an atom. If you consider any element, elements are always made up of a same type of a particles called as atoms. Now the radius of an atom is always called as atomic size. That is, atomic size refers to the radius of an atom. Now how to find out the radius of this atom? Listen here, we know that any atom, if you consider, always at the center it contains a nucleus. An atom of any element, if you consider, always at the center it contains a nucleus. The nucleus of an atom always contains the different number of protons along with the neutrons. We know that the protons are positively charged particles and the neutrons are the neutral particles. Surrounding this nucleus containing the protons and neutrons, always various number of electrons revolve around the nucleus in a definite. Various number of electrons revolve around the nucleus in a definite circular path called as orbits, or it is also called as shells, or it is also called as main energy levels, isn't it? That is, around the nucleus electrons revolve in a definite circular path called as orbits, or the main energy levels, or the shells. Now we are studying about here the atomic size, and we know that the atomic size always refers to what? Radius of an atom. What is this radius? Listen here, the radius of an atom is the distance between, it is the distance between the center of the nucleus. It is the distance between the center of the nucleus to the outermost shell. Whatever may be the n value, it may be n is equal to 1, it may be n is equal to 2, it may be n is equal to 3, or any other n value, whatever may be the outermost shell here, that outermost shell has to contain at least a single electron. Listen here, that is, the atomic size or the atomic radius is the distance between the center of the nucleus to the outermost shell containing an electron or outermost shell of a neutral atom or the isolated atom. Follow the definition, no? The atomic radius is a distance between the center of the nucleus to the outermost shell containing the electron. You can write like that. Otherwise, distance between the center of the nucleus to the outermost shell of an isolated atom or a neutral atom. Now this is the definition of the atomic size or the atomic radius. Now let us study variation of this periodic property along the period of a modern periodic table and down the group of a modern periodic table. How does this atomic size varies along the period and down the group? We have to study now the variation of a atomic radii. Variation of atomic radii. Now let us study about the variation of the atomic radii along the period and down the group. Now if I consider along the period means we have to move from left to right of the period. Listen here, we have studied there are 7 periods. Now when we move from left to the right direction of a period, how this atomic radii varies. Listen here student, if I consider the third period, let us consider here third period, any of the period we can consider, the variation is similar. Let us study about here third period atomic radius of a different elements. Now the first element here is the sodium with the atomic number 11. The next element here is the magnesium with the atomic number 12. And we know that next comes aluminium, silicon, phosphorus, sulfur, chlorine and argon. Is the atomic radii of all these elements are similar? No. Atomic radii varies along the period from left to right. How it varies? Listen here. The atomic radii always goes on decreases. The atomic radii always goes on decreases as we move from left side to the right side of a particular period. The atomic radii always decreases as we move from left to right direction of a particular period. Now if you consider sodium, the next element to that sodium is a magnesium. What I said now, the atomic radii always what happens? Decreases, isn't it? That means the magnesium has got a smaller size compared to what? Sodium. Now if I consider this aluminium, the size of the aluminium is smaller than magnesium as well as smaller than sodium. That means the atomic radii always decreases along the period when we move from left direction to the right direction. Followed it? Now why it decreases? Let us consider the same example here, that is the third period elements. I will write down the sodium. Now what happens in the case of a sodium, that is electronic configuration? We know the electronic configuration. We have studied this in the last session also. That means the atomic number of sodium is 11. Listen now, the atomic number of sodium is 11. If I write the electronic configuration by using the noble gas configuration, straight away I can write here one of the noble gas. In the last class detailed explanation we have studied about this, isn't it? Now neon, how many electrons are there in the neon? 10 electrons, isn't it? Here totally how many electrons? 11. That means 10 electrons we have written here. The next electron enters into third main energy level. Just see, third main energy level. Which is the valence shell here? Third main energy level is the valence shell. Third shell, N is equal to 3. Otherwise, KL, M shell is the outermost shell. Contains how many electron? Single electron. Now if I consider the next element to that is the magnesium. In the same period, it contains what? Magnesium. What is the atomic number of magnesium? 12. Now if I write the electronic configuration, neon with the atomic number 10, next comes 3s, 10 electrons I have written. How many remains? 2 remains, isn't it? That means the 3s2. Just observe the electronic configuration of these two elements. See here, the valence electron enters into the third main energy level, that is the s orbital of the third main energy level. Here also, even though the number of electron increases by 1 unit compared with the sodium, there is 1 extra electron in the case of a magnesium with the atomic number 12. Even though it contains 1 extra electron here, magnesium, the electron enters into the s orbital of the third main energy level only. Now if I consider the aluminium, listen here, aluminium. What is the atomic number of aluminium? 13. You can see here the aluminium with the atomic number 13, isn't it? Now, if I write the aluminium electronic configuration, we can use the noble gas configuration itself. Neon. Next comes 3s2. See, 10 electrons I have written here. How many electrons remains here? Out of this total 13 electrons, 3 electrons, isn't it? But all those 3 electrons cannot enter into the s orbital, because you know this, the s orbital can accommodate a maximum of how many electrons? Only 2 electrons. S orbital can accommodate a maximum of 2 electrons. Here 10 electrons we have written here, that is the neon. 3 electrons remains. Out of those 3, only 2 enters into the s orbital. Next one enters into the p orbital of the same main energy level. It enters into the p orbital of same main energy level, that is a 3p1. Okay. Now if I write the silicon, next element you can see there, that is the silicon with the atomic number 14. See, atomic number 14. Electronic configuration is neon, 10 electrons. Next electron enters into the s orbital of the third main energy level, 3s2. Next electron enters into the p orbital of the third main energy level, that is the 3p2. If I write the next element, you can see that the phosphorus, isn't it? What is atomic number of phosphorus? 15. Atomic number is 15. If I write the electronic configuration, neon 3s2, and you can write here how many electrons have written? Totally 12. Here it contains totally 15 electrons. Remaining 3 electrons enters into the p orbital. Next element I have to consider here is the sulfur with the atomic number 16. Sulfur with the atomic number 16. If I write the electronic configuration, neon 3s2 and 3p4. Next to the sulfur, we have to write the next element present in the third period, that is nothing but a chlorine with the atomic number 17. If I write the electronic configuration, neon, next comes 3s2, next here it is how many electrons remains here? 12 electrons I have written. How many remains? 5 more electrons, isn't it? 3p5. And the last element of the third period here is argon with the atomic number 18. Okay, if I write the electronic configuration, neon 10 electrons we have written. Next electron enters into the 3s orbital, 3s2. Next electron enters into the 3p orbital, completely filled state. P orbital always can accommodate a maximum of how many electrons? That is 6 electrons. Just see here, we have written the electronic configuration of all the elements belonging to the third period. Just observe the outermost electronic configuration, that is the valential electronic configuration. If you consider the valential electronic configuration, even though the number of electrons increases from left to right, from sodium to argon, even though the number of electrons increases, but the last electron enters into the third main energy level itself. It may be the s orbital or it may be the p orbital. Always this s and p is present in which main energy level? Third main energy level. That means if I write now the particular atom of an element, listen here, atom of an element. At the center it contains what? Nucleus. Surrounding that, the first main energy level, that is the 1s orbital present in the first main energy level. This is the K shell. Next it contains the another main energy level containing the s and p orbital, nothing but a L shell, 2s and 2p. Next if I consider another main energy level containing the s and p orbitals, that is 3s and 3p. See here, in the case of a sodium, third main energy level, this is the, if this is n is equal to 1, if this is n is equal to 2, this should be n is equal to 3. See here, in the case of a sodium, third main energy level, only s orbital contains a single electron. In the case of a magnesium, third main energy level, s orbital contains 2 electrons. 2 electrons are there here in the magnesium. In the case of aluminium, 3 electrons are there here. 2 are in s, 1 is in p. In the case of a silicon, 4 electrons are there here. In the case of a phosphorus, 5, sulfur it is a 6, chlorine it is a 7, then argon it is a 8. Even though the number of electrons increases in the third main energy level, is there any difference in the distance between the nucleus and this outermost energy level containing the different number of electrons? Only the number of electrons increases, but all those electrons are accommodated in what? Third main energy level itself. Understood, no? Even though the number of electrons increases, the electrons gets accommodated or enters into third main energy level itself. Hence, there is no difference in the distance between the nucleus and the outermost main energy level. No difference in the distance. But what happens, as the number of electrons increases, we know that an atom always contains same number of electrons and same number of protons. For example, if you consider the sodium, 11 protons are there here, 11 electrons are present in the different main energy levels. For example, magnesium, if you consider, 12 protons are there here and it contains 12 electrons in the different main energy levels. That means not only the number of electrons increases, simultaneously in an atom always a equal number. That means in an atom there is always a equal number of protons and electrons, isn't it? Hence, as the number of electrons increases, number of protons also what happens? Increases. Hence, the force, nothing but nuclear force of attraction. Nuclear force of attraction, what happens? Increases. Distance doesn't changes, isn't it? All the electrons enters into the third main energy level itself. Distance doesn't increases, but nuclear force of attraction, what happens? Is more. Since the nuclear force of attraction increases, the electrons present in the third main energy level comes closer to the nucleus. Understood? As the number of protons in the nucleus increases, distance doesn't change, isn't it? Because the electrons enters into the third main energy level itself. As the nuclear force of attraction is nothing but attraction due to the positive charges. We know that electrons are always negatively charged particles, protons are always positively charged particles. Increase in the nuclear force is nothing but force due to, attractive force due to the positive particles. What happens? Increases. As the nuclear force of attraction, that is attractive force by the protons, positively charged particles increases, electrons, what happens? Comes closer to the nucleus. Hence, radius of an atom, what happens? Decreases. Radius of an atom, what happens? Decreases. As the number of electrons entering into the same main energy level increases, number of protons also increases. Because of the increase in the number of protons, no difference in the distance between the nucleus and the outermost shell, only the number of electrons increases. What happens now? The attractive force by the positive particles, what happens? Increases. That attractive force is always called as the nuclear force of attraction. Since the nuclear force of attraction increases on the outermost electrons, electrons comes closer to the nucleus, hence the radius between the center of the nucleus and the outermost shell, what happens? Decreases. Therefore, as the number of electrons increases in each of the elements accommodated in a particular period, what happens? Size goes on, decreases. Follow this. Reason is very, very important. How does the atomic radius varies along the period as we move from left to right direction? What happens when we move from left to right direction? Atomic radii goes on, decreases. Why it decreases? Electrons gets entered into the same main energy level, nothing but same outermost shell. Since there is no difference in the energy levels, once the number of electrons increases, because the electrons enters into the same outermost shell, main energy level, nuclear force of attraction, what happens? Increases. Hence, electrons comes closer. Therefore, the radius of an atom, what happens? Goes on, decreases as we move from left to right direction of a particular period. Followed now, students? I hope all of you have followed this. Now, let us consider variation of the same atomic radius when we move from top to bottom. That means, how does this atomic radii varies along the, that means down the group, when we move from top to bottom. Listen here, top to bottom means, here I'll consider the first group. Okay, let us study about the first group elements. We know that the first group elements means starting from lithium you have to write, isn't it? The first group elements are, can you name those first group elements? We have written the electronic configuration of the first group elements in the last session also, as well as in the previous session also. Listen here. Now, which are the first group elements? Which are the elements belonging to the first group? See, the first element here is the lithium. We know that the atomic number is 3. The next to that is sodium. Atomic number is 11. Next to that is potassium. Atomic number is 19. Next to that is rubidium with the atomic number 37. Next to that is cesium with the atomic number 55. The last element, radioactive element, is francium with the atomic number 87. Okay, I have written here the elements belonging to the first group. Just observe the electronic configuration. You know this electronic configuration. Let us write the noble gas here. Helium. What is the atomic number of helium? 2. What is the atomic number of lithium? 3. Hence the next electron enters into the 2s1. Totally 3 electrons we have written. See here sodium. What is the atomic number? 11. Let us write the noble gas configuration. Neon. How many inner electrons I have written? 10. How many remains here? 1 electron enters into the next main energy level. See, 3s1. Potassium, atomic number is 19. That means I can write now the noble gas configuration. Argon with the atomic number 18. Next electron enters into the 4s1. Rubidium with the atomic number 37. We can use a noble gas, that is the krypton 36. And the last electron enters into the fifth main energy level, 5s1. Next we can consider the cesium with the atomic number 55. We can write the noble gas configuration, that is the xenon. What is the atomic number? 54. The last electron enters into the sixth main energy level, 6s1. And here it is the francium, and we can use the noble gas here, that is the radon with the atomic number 86. Last electron enters into the seventh main energy level, 7s1. Listen here. Now we have studying about the variation of the atomic radii down the group. How it varies as we move from top to bottom. Just before this, we have studied about the variation of the atomic radii along the period. We have written the electronic configuration of the different elements belonging to the third period also, isn't it? We have observed that in the case of a period, the electrons enters into the same main energy level. Just observe the electronic configuration here. Students, you just observe this. Is the electrons enters into, the last electron enters into the same main energy level? If you consider a particular group, is the last electron enters into the same main energy level? No, isn't it? If you consider the lithium, the outermost main energy level is the second main energy level. See, this is the 1, n is equal to 1, this is the n is equal to 2. If you consider the sodium, the outermost main energy level is the third main energy level. See, if this is the nucleus, next comes n is equal to 1, first main energy level. Next here it is the n is equal to 2, second main energy level, like this. Here the electron enters into the third main energy level. That means we have to write here, this is the third main energy level. See, what happens? Is the distance remain same? Radius, center of the nucleus to the outermost shell containing the electron. Is that distance remain same here? No, isn't it? If you consider this lithium and if you consider this sodium, here this distance, what happens? That changes. Distance between the nucleus and the outermost shell, what happens here? Goes on, increases. That means if you consider potassium, third is not the outermost shell, fourth is the outermost shell, one more main energy level I have to write. If you consider the rubidium, fifth one is the outermost shell, that means fourth one, next we have to consider the fifth one. That means if you consider the elements belonging to a particular group, always the valence electrons enters into, nothing but the last electrons enters into what? Different main energy levels. Electrons do not get accommodated in the same main energy level like period. Electrons enters into the various, that is the different main energy levels, outer main energy levels. Therefore, distance between the nucleus and the outermost shell containing that valence electron, what happens? Goes on, increases. As the distance increases, even though the number of protons increases here also, as the distance increases, even though the number of protons increases in this also, what happens? Nuclear force of attraction always decreases. Distance increases means nucleus cannot hold tightly the outer electron when the distance, what happens? Increases. Therefore, radius also, what happens? Increases. Atomic size also increases. This is the variation of the atomic radii when we move from top to bottom in a particular group. That means lithium to francium. If you consider, what happens to the atomic radii? Atomic radii goes on, increases. Size of an atom always increases when we move from top to bottom in a particular group. Reason you have followed, no students? Only the reason is the valence electrons enters into the different main energy levels. Okay? Valence electrons enters into the next main energy levels. That means distance increases, simultaneously nuclear force of attraction, what happens? Decreases. Nuclear force of attraction decreases means electrons do not come closer to the nucleus, electrons moves away from the nucleus. Therefore, size always, what happens? Goes on, increases as we move from top to bottom in a particular group. The second periodic property we have finished. Which is that second periodic property we have studied? Atomic size. Now what is that atomic size? Distance between the nucleus of an atom to the outermost shell containing what? Electron of a neutral atom. Variation of the atomic radius also we have studied. How it varies along the period and how it varies down the group. We have studied that. I hope the concept is very clear for you. Just observe the various elements of the periodic table for 1 minute. Let us check some of the questions they have given in your textbook as the activity. Okay? Okay students, listen here. Activity 5.7, just refer your textbook, page number 32, activity 5.7. The first question they have given here is, the atomic radii of the elements of the second period are given. See, atomic radii of the elements of the second period they have given. Second period elements means lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine and neon. See, they have given the atomic radii in a picometers. The boron atomic radii they have given is 88 picometer. And beryllium they have given is 111. And oxygen again they have given, that is the atomic radii is 86, nitrogen 74, lithium 152, carbon 77. Listen here, in this question they are asked you to arrange these elements according to the order in which these elements are present in the second period. Is it clear for you? According to the order in which these elements are present in a second period. That means they have given here, you have to arrange these elements in the decreasing order of their atomic radius. Decreasing order of their atomic radius. See, the first element they have given is a beryllium. We know that the beryllium belongs to the second group, not to the first group, isn't it? Along with the beryllium, they have given the lithium also. Lithium is the first group element. We know this always. Elements belonging to the first group have the largest size. Elements belonging to the first group have largest size, because as we move from left to the right direction, what happens? Nuclear force of attraction increases, atomic size goes on, decreases. Hence, the first element we have to write here is a lithium. In the given elements, we have to write first the lithium with the largest size atomic radii of the lithium they have given, that is a 152 they have given. Is it clear for you? The next element you have to write here is a beryllium. Next to that you have to write is a boron. Next to that is a carbon. Next to that is a nitrogen. According to the order how these elements are present in the second period, we have to write those elements in the decreasing order of what? Atomic radii. Easily we can find out here. Left to right, atomic radius decreases. That means left to right means first element always will get is a element belonging to the first group. Always the element belonging to the first group in a periodic table have always it has got what? A largest size. Then size goes on, what happens? Decreases. Is it clear for you? This is the first question they have given in the activity 5.7. The second question they have asked you to arrange this only, and third question they have given is are the elements now arranged in the pattern of a period in the particular period in the periodic table? Already we have studied. We can arrange that according to their atomic radii. The next question is which element have the largest and the smallest atom? Again in the second period itself they are asked again one more question. Which element have the largest and smallest size? Can you tell me which element has the largest size? Lithium has the largest size because it is the first group element. Starting from left to right, atomic radius decreases, isn't it? Lithium has the largest size. Which element has got the smallest size? The last element here. Which is that the last element? They are not given about the neon. Therefore, the last element here we have to consider. See, first lithium in the arrangement. Next comes beryllium. Next it is the boron. Next to that is the carbon. Next to that is a nitrogen. Next to that is a oxygen. Fluorine and neon they have not given. Hence, which element has got the smallest size? Oxygen. In the given set of elements, oxygen has got a smallest size. Okay, two more elements they are not given. Fluorine and neon they are not given. Therefore, in the given set of elements, oxygen has got a smallest size. Now, the last question they are asked in the activity 5.7 is, how does the atomic radius change as you go from left to right in a period? We know the answer, isn't it? How it varies? As we go from left to right in a period, atomic radii always what happens? Decreases. What is the reason? Because nuclear force of attraction increases. Therefore, radius goes on decreases. Understood now this? Okay, next we have to consider the another activity they have given here, that is activity 5.8. Page number 33, just observe the question they have given, activity 5.8. See, they have given the first question, study the variation in the atomic radii of the first group elements. We have to consider the first group elements. Already you have studied this. See, they have given the elements belonging to the first group, and also they have given the atomic radii of a different elements in a picometer. Just see here, sodium, what is the atomic radii they given? 186. Lithium, they have given 152. Rubidium, 244. Cesium, 262. Potassium, 231. Listen here students, very easily we can arrange if you know the order here. The first group element starts from, that is the first group element starts from the lithium, next comes sodium, next it is the potassium, next it is the rubidium, cesium and francium. What happens here? Down the group, atomic radii, what happens always? Goes on increases. Because the electrons, the last electrons enters into the outermost, that is the next main energy levels. Hence, the nuclear force of attraction, what happens? Decreases. Electrons move away from the nucleus. Size of the atom also what happens? Goes on increases. Nuclear force of attraction decreases means atomic radii always goes on increases. Therefore, let us arrange this. The first element we have to write here is lithium. Next to the lithium we have to write here is sodium. See arrangement, next to that is sodium. Next to the sodium you have to write potassium. Next to potassium, that is the rubidium with the largest size, and the last element they have given here is a cesium with the largest size. Hence in this first group, which element has got a small size? See, from lithium to cesium they have given. Which element has got a smallest size? Lithium has got a small size. Clear for you? Because down the group from top to bottom size goes on increases. Lithium has got the smallest size. Which element has got the largest size? Francium. They are not given in the elements which they have given in that set. Therefore we have to consider the largest element here is the cesium. Understood? Lithium has got the small size and the cesium has got a largest size. Is it clear for you? Next question they have given is how does the atomic size vary as we go down a group? How does the atomic radii vary as we go down the group? Already we know this, isn't it? How does it varies? We know that down the group atomic radius always goes on increases. Reason is the nuclear force of attraction decreases because the valence electrons enters into what? Next outermost main energy level. Distance increases, nuclear force of attraction decreases, size also what happens? Increases. By this we have finished second periodic property, nothing but atomic size. Is it clear for you? The second periodic property we have finished, that is atomic size. Dear students, we have to study now the last periodic property, that is metallic and non-metallic properties. Now metallic and non-metallic property, that is another periodic property given in your textbook. Let us complete that now. Yes, periodic property we have to consider here is the next periodic property, metallic and non-metallic properties. Metallic and non-metallic properties. Listen here students, before studying the metallic and non-metallic properties, we have to study one of the important concept that is called as a electronegativity. Listen here, very important concept this is, to follow the reason why the different elements are called as a metals, why the different elements are called as a non-metals, you should know this. Listen here, let us study about electronegativity. And another term you have to study here is electropositivity. That means electropositive nature, and we have to consider here electronegative nature, electronegativity and electropositivity. Now what is this electronegativity? Listen here, electronegativity of an atom of any element, if you consider, electronegativity is a tendency of an atom to attract the electrons. Tendency of an atom to attract the electrons. That is always called what? Electronegativity. Always this electronegativity is directly related to the non-metallic property. It is always directly related to what? Non-metallic property. That means if the atom has got a highest tendency, atom of any element if you consider, if it has got a highest tendency to attract the electrons, to gain the electrons, then that atom or that element is always what? Non-metals. Understood this now? Electronegativity means tendency of an atom to attract the electrons or gain the electrons. This property is always directly related to what? Non-metallic properties. Non-metallic property means if an element is a non-metal, always it has got a high electronegative value. If an element is a non-metal, always the atom of that element has got a highest electronegative value. Clear now? Now let us consider the electropositivity. What is this electropositivity? Electropositive nature. That means just reverse of the electronegative nature. Just reverse of the electronegative nature. Now electronegative means we know that tendency of an atom to attract the electrons. Understood? Now electropositive means tendency of an atom to lose the electrons, not to gain the electrons. Tendency of an atom to lose the electrons. Higher the tendency to lose the electrons, always more will be the metallic property. Higher the tendency to lose the electrons, always more will be the metallic property. Hence, the electropositive means it is the character observed in the case of metals. Electronegative means it is the character or the property observed in the case of non-metals. Always non-metals are electronegative in nature and metals are always electropositive in nature. Follow this now? Electronegative means tendency to attract the electrons. Electropositive means tendency to lose or donate the electrons. Listen now, in the modern periodic table, if you consider, as we move from left to the right direction, as we move from left to the right direction, what happens to the metallic property? Metallic property goes on decreases. As we move from left to right direction, metallic property goes on decreases. Now why this metallic property goes on decreases? That means, listen here, before studying the reason, let us study now. To the left side of the modern periodic table, always we can observe what? Metals. To the left side of the modern periodic table, we can observe what? Metals. Then as we move towards the right side, in the topmost position, right side, always the non-metals we can observe. Non-metals are present to the right side of the periodic table. Metals are present to the left side of the periodic table. That means as we move from left to the right direction, metallic property what happens? Goes on decreases. Why this metallic property decreases? Listen here, just now we have studied one of the explanation, that is, we know that as we move from left to the right direction, what happens to the atomic size? As we move from left to the right direction, what happens to the atomic size? You know, what happens to the atomic size? Atomic size goes on decreases. Listen now, when we move from left to the right direction, atomic size goes on decreases. Any period you can consider the first group element. Any period starts from the first group itself. First group element, if it has got this size, next comes element with the smaller size. Next to that is again smaller size. Next to that again smaller size, small size, like this. See, atomic size, what happens now? When we move from left to the right direction, atomic size goes on decreases. Atomic size decreases means distance between the nucleus and the outermost shell containing the electron, what happens? Decreases, isn't it? Once this distance decreases, nuclear force of attraction, what happens? Increases. Since the nuclear force of attraction increases as the distance between the nucleus and outermost shell containing the electron decreases, nuclear force of attraction, what happens? Increases. What is that nuclear force of attraction? Nuclear force of attraction is nothing but attractive force by the positively charged particles. as the attractive force by the positively charged particle increases, is it easy to remove the electron present in the outermost shell? Is it easy to donate the valence electron? No, because the valence electron also tightly held by the nucleus. To remove that, to lose that electron, lot of energy, high amount of energy is required. Therefore, as we move from left to the right direction, size decreases means nuclear force of attraction increases. Very difficult to remove the electrons, very difficult to lose the outermost electron, but very easily it can gain what? Electron, because the attractive force by the positive particle is what? Very high. Nuclear force of attraction is what? Very high. Since the nuclear force of attraction is very high, tendency to gain the electron, what is that tendency called? Tendency to gain the electron. That tendency is always called what? Electronegativity. Okay, tendency to gain the electron is called as electronegativity. Tendency to gain the electron is more, nothing but electronegativity is more. Hence, as we move from left to the right direction, electronegativity property what happens? Increases because of the decrease in the atomic radii. If you consider here the elements present in the left side, you can observe size is what? Larger, isn't it? Size is larger means distance between the nucleus and the outermost shell is what? More. As the distance increases, since the distance here is more, nuclear force of attraction is what? Less. Attractive force by the positive particle on the last electron, valence electron, is less. This nucleus, that means the positively charged particle cannot hold tightly the valence electrons which are far from what? Nucleus. Distance is more. Hence, the attractive force is less by the nucleus means removal of electron what happens? Easier. Very easily it can donate the electrons. Removal of electrons becomes easier. Is the gain of electron is easy? No. Gain of electron is very difficult because the nuclear force of attraction is what? Less. Attractive force by the positive particle is less. Very least tendency to gain the electron, but very high tendency to lose the electrons. Tendency to lose the electron is always called as a electropositive nature. Okay, electropositivity or electropositive nature. Tendency to lose the electron is always called as a electropositive nature. Hence, the elements present to the left side of the periodic table have got larger size. Electropositive nature will be high. Tendency to lose the electron will be high. Therefore, always the metals, you can see here lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium or beryllium, magnesium, calcium, any of the elements if you consider, all these are what? Metals. Is these elements have got the high electropositive nature or electronegative? We have studied that now. Size is larger, electropositive character will be high, tendency to lose the electron will be very high. All the metals are what? Electropositive in nature. Any metal in a periodic table if you consider, the metals are always electropositive in nature. And when we move towards the right side of the periodic table, atomic size what happens? Decreases. Nuclear force of attraction will be high. Tendency to gain the electron will be high. That tendency is called what? Electronegativity. Understood? Electronegative property. Any non-metal if you consider, non-metals are always electronegative in nature. Any of the non-metal, if you consider, non-metals have the highest tendency to gain the electrons. Therefore, non-metals are electronegative in nature. Therefore, as we move from left to the right direction, metallic property, what happens? Decreases. We can see non-metals towards the right side. Metallic property decreases. Why this metallic property decreases? It is only because of the atomic size. It is only because of the nuclear force of attraction. I hope the concept will be very clear for you. Okay? Now let us study what happens down the group. What happens down the group? Metallic property we are studying here. Down the group, if you consider, we have studied starting from lithium to francium, beryllium to radium, any of the group if you consider, what happens? Down the group, atomic size always what happens? Increases, because the valence shell electrons enters into the next outermost main energy level. We have studied that, isn't it? Nuclear force of attraction, what happens? Decreases. As the size increases, nuclear force of attraction decreases. Tell me now, nuclear force of attraction decreases means tendency to lose the electron also what happens? Increases. Tendency to donate the electron also what happens? Increases. Therefore, electropositive character increases. See, down the group, electropositive character increases. We know that all the metals are electropositive in nature. Higher tendency to donate the electron means more will be the electropositive character. More is the electropositive character means more will be the metallic character. All the metals are what? Electropositive in nature. Therefore, if we move from top to bottom in a particular group, metallic character what happens? Goes on increases. Metallic character always increases down the group. Metallic character always decreases along the period from left to right. Clear no? Down the group, metallic character increases due to increase in the atomic size, decrease in the nuclear force of attraction. Loss of electron becomes easier. Electropositive character increases. Electropositive character increases means tendency to lose the electron is more. Metallic character what happens? Increases down the group from top to bottom, but metallic character decreases along the period from left to right. Reason we have studied. Atomic radii goes on, decreases from left to right. Nuclear force of attraction increases. Very difficult to lose the electron, but very easy to gain the electron. Electron gain tendency is always called electronegativity. Electronegativity is directly proportional to the non-metallic property. Non-metals always have got the tendency to gain the electrons. I hope the concept will be clear for you. The remaining explanation about the metallic and non-metallic property we can study in the next session. Students, just read the explanation given in your textbook and find out the answer given in the activity part or given in the question part and prepare well for your examination. Okay? Thank you.